no candied yams. So I told him to give me cranberries or corn.
We love corn. I'm not a big cranberries guy or candy yams.
No, me either.
Like the mashed potatoes, I even like, I'm not even a huge stuffing guy, but I'll take it if it's cooked outside of the bird and has sausage in it.
Oh, interesting. That's very Southern.
Is
They
it?
like a lot of sausage.
I got that from Pete Tobin, who said you shouldn't cook anything inside the bird. It's not healthy.
He's right.
Yeah.
I do it.
Okay.
But I feed it to the family to try first.
Correct.
Make sure it's good. All right. Favorite thing about Thanksgiving? Let's just talk about Thanksgiving in general. Your favorite thing?
Favorite thing about Thanksgiving?
Yep.
Well, it's just one of those great family events. I mean, there's nothing other. I mean, the thing about Thanksgiving is family and friends getting together in an intimate setting and enjoying a great meal together and just giving thanks. Thanks for everything. Thanks for the year. Thanks for being in this family. Thanks for good health. Just thanks. I love it. I think Thanksgiving, and as I get older, it becomes more and more and more important to me than it was when, say, I was a kid.
Greg's mom always says to be together this season.
Last year, many families couldn't get together, and especially older people who were more vulnerable couldn't get together. And that was horrible and just a hardship. Well, this year doesn't look like that's going to be the case. People are vaccinated, more precautions have been made, and we're just hoping and hoping and hoping that everybody will, and we're expecting everyone to be able to get together this year. And I think that's one thing everyone's going to give thanks for, is being able to get together this year. Thanksgiving is an extremely important holiday. It's an emotional holiday. It comes just before we get into the deep, dark days of winter. A lot of seasonal employees are usually laid off at about that time, and so it's that one last really great family meal together before we head into winter and wait for spring.
So go back 22 years ago now. What are we at? This is 22nd year? Yeah, 22nd year.
Of Tom's Turkey Drive? Oh, really? I thought it was 25, but it's 22. Okay, 22. That's about right. Okay.
I have to look back.
Yeah.
But going back all those years, Thanksgiving was important to you, and you wanted to create this program to sort of get rid of all the little ones here and there, and piecemealing it together, and give the iconic meal to families. Go back to that very first year, where I think it was never really hammered it. A few hundred meals, maybe 1,000.
Yeah, we were supposed to get. I think we had been asked to for the Salvation Army. We had been asked to raise. I think it was like 400 meals. I think we had been asked to raise 400 meals, and we were like, okay, we'll see what we can do. And at that time, there were so many little turkey drives going on all across the city. The agencies like Second Harvest and the other charitable organizations that do the Thanksgiving meals, they were just spread so thin. So, I thought that was one way I could get in and maybe help. I was looking for some way to be of service to the community, and that looked like that would be a good idea if we could pull it off. And we were able to get our 400 turkeys. And then next year it became, can you get us 600? And we were just getting turkeys at that time. And then could you get us 600? And then it just became this beautiful, wonderful force when we got together with Rosars and Jeff Phillips. And he came up with the idea of a bag with all the fixings in it, plus the turkey. And at that time it was $15. We're talking 2 decades ago. And it was $15, and then it became the people's event. And then it became a way for average, ordinary people could do something really, really big for another family that was going through some tough times. And that was now it's a $20 donation, for $20 that you can actually buy a family of 4 a complete Thanksgiving dinner. It's really amazing. We have so many beautiful fundraisers in Spokane, such a giving community, but many of them are geared towards, the well-heeled. They are high price, high ticket affairs, and they're all wonderful, and I love them. Having said that, there's a lot of those charitable events that the average person can't be part of, and yet they want to help. Well, Tom's Turkey Drive is one where for almost everyone can be part of this, because it's only $20. And even if that's too much, you just partner with a friend, and now it's $10. a piece, and now you've bought a family a complete Thanksgiving meal. It is really just that I think, besides helping to feed lots of folks in need, I think the fact that it's an outlet for ordinary people to do something really great for someone else that's hurting, that's really my favorite part of Tom's Turkey Drive. And everybody, it seems like, wants to be part of it. It's really, really beautiful.
It's powerful.
It is.
Because I got
It is powerful.
note the other day, and it was just a, hey, tell Tom we love him, and it was a $25 check. And I called and said, hey, we're going to feature it tonight. And I said, just so you know, just like night, you just fed a family.
Yeah.
And it was a little over the amount. But so you get a $20 check, and you can tell somebody, you just fed a family on the most iconic meal of the year.
Yeah.
Like the most iconic meal of the year. Pretty powerful message.
Yeah, and that was that. You're referring to an event in the summertime, and somebody was already thinking about it. I can't tell you the amount of times I've been out to dinner or at something, just on my private time, and somebody will come up to me and hand me a $20 bill or a $10 bill, and they'll go, hey, put this towards the turkey drive. And it's just, yes, I will. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, I always think it's funny. You come in sometimes with, somebody gave this to me.
Yeah, it's funny when people are so lovely, and they'll give me the dollar, the $20 or the check or whatever, and I like it to get out of my hand as quickly as possible. I'd like to get it right over to you, the people that are responsible for the financial aspects of Tom's Turkey Drive, and I just know that, and whenever I get it, I just picture the bag full of everything, the Dairy Gold milk, the Franz rolls, the turkey itself, all the fixins that are provided by Rosars. I just picture this big bag that we give out each and every Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and I know exactly what that $20 bill represents. It is an amazing thing. I have to tell you that now that we've been doing it 22 years,
and I had to check that.
Okay, now that we've been doing it,
over 2 decades.
Yeah, now that we've been doing it over 2 decades, the stories that I get are amazing. And I've told a few of them, but it's, they almost make me, I guess the older I get, they almost make me cry. I have adults now that will come up to me and give a donation, and they'll tell me that they were a child and that their mom or their dad or their family had to go through the drive, and they didn't know any better at that time, but there might have been 2, 3, 4 years in a row that family had gone through. And now these people are adults, these children are now grown up, and they know what it meant, and now they get the whole picture. So at a $20 donation, they're like, I want to be part of this. So they might even hand me $100 to kind of, it's really, really amazing. It's a beautiful event. And I can't tell you the amount of people that have wanted to pay it forward. Either they were the adults themselves that had to take advantage of this through hard times, and now they're back on their feet. We have a lot of people that are back on their feet, and they just want to pay it forward. And then now that it's more than 2 decades old, it's the children that have grown up and were able to see how this benefited their family. May not have known it as kids, but now that they're adults, they get it. And there they are, just ready to do it. It's a no judgment distribution. It is I can't think of anything really, it's just lovely. It's just such a wonderful, wonderful way to be human and be kind. And it's it's the best thing I've ever been involved with.
I think everybody can agree being human, being kind we need more of it.
Yeah, well, we do need more of it. And this is a lovely way to do it. Now we had the pandemic last year, so we were so worried about okay.
Yeah.
It is train settled wine, so I believe it was Japan or Korea, I think it was Koreans, came in and actually did, not on this particular wine, but another wine around the country, did a study on wine that is gently, they call it train settled, and it is actually a superior wine, so much so that some wineries, or vintners, whatever, will actually set up big speakers next to the cask, the barrels, to gently shake them. Yeah, because it helps get some of the I don't know, flavoring, I don't know, from the wood or whatever. Okay, get me back on now. What was the last one you were going to say? Where were we
Let's
at?
talk about this. Because since I'm oftentimes standing out with you somewhere, right? I get, so I can't even imagine what you get. I get over and over, Tom's Turkey Drive, I was part of it. I stood in line and I did it, and now I volunteer.
Yeah, volunteers. We can't do the event with volunteers. See, there's no rake off the top. There's no management fees. There's no Tom's Turkey Drive vans and Tom's Turkey Drive jet. There's no Tom's Turkey Drive management. There's no chunk of money that's taken off the top to go pay for these things. That $20 goes right to actually buying the meals pretty much at cost and then giving them to, and much of that is all donated. I mean, the bag of food that you get with a Tom's Turkey Drive meal is way more expensive than $20, but we have lovely people that help us out. Having said that, we can't do it without volunteers. Hundreds of volunteers. And it's amazing that year after year, and people are standing out in the cold for 2 and 3 hour shifts and lifting boxes and down at Second Harvest and boxing it all up, or at the Rose Hours stores and putting everything in the bags so that we don't have to have the Rose Hours employees actually do that. It's just ways that people want to be of service to other people and people in need. And so, that's, I talk about people helping out and paying it forward, but the volunteers that we get year after year after year, we just couldn't do it. We don't have the manpower, or we'd have to take money off the top to pay people to do it, and we're never going to do that.
A woman told me last year, I was interviewing her, she said for her it was a life changer. And I said, well, how so? I mean, she has a great comfortable life, she comes down, she volunteers at the food bank. She said, well, you volunteer at a food bank, and that's what she does. And she said, I package up food, and she said, I went to the Tom's Turkey Drive distribution the year before for the first time and saw, this wasn't just some abstract idea, but saw thousands upon thousands of people saying thank you, and this is good. And knowing that, she said, what I just packed was going to kids, it was going to a mom who could afford it, or a dad who was working hard, or a veteran, or whatever. She said, being a volunteer in the moment at Tom's Turkey Drive shifted her whole perspective on how we serve our community. Do you ever hear stories like that?
All the time. And I'm one of those guys that when I first got involved with this, that actually saw how that happens. I mean, we all need sustenance. It's a basic need that we have to have food. Well, Tom's Turkey Drive is food and an emotional day and it's giving thanks. And for people that have been involved with Tom's Turkey Drive, either through donating or volunteering, especially the volunteers that get to see it firsthand, it's kind of, I don't want to say life-changing, but it certainly is enlightening for them. And they feel better after they've participated in this event. They know that they did something very, very good to be involved in something that is so basic that just helps people that are having a tough time enjoy a wonderful meal at a very important time of year, a fabulous holiday.
I have a couple stories I'm going to throw out to you. You can elaborate on them.
Okay.
You're at the doctor's, you're really sick.
Yeah, that one.
I love it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite stories.
Yeah. Well, this story is where when at first the whole pay it forward came to me was we had been doing it, I think, maybe 8-9 years. And I go to the doctor way out of season. This is probably in the summertime, and I've got a chest cold. And the assistant, the medical assistant, getting my name, my number, what's bothering you, so she can, tell the doctor, take my blood pressure. And then she looks up, and she's a young person, and she looks up at me and she goes, "Hey, you're the turkey guy, aren't you?" And I go, and I'm like, I croak out. I go, "Yeah, because I've got the bad throat." "Yeah, that's me." And she goes, I had to take advantage of that a few years ago, so thanks. And I just said, "You're welcome." But I go, because now she's working, I go, "Consider paying it forward." She goes, "I've already done that a couple of times." And she will continue to do that. So, I mean, she just went through a bad patch. Some people, we all go through a bad patch. And this is, and especially if you have children involved, and she was a single mother. And so she took advantage of it, and now she was back on her feet, and and she participates in paying it forward. I love that. We've got these two young men, they were little boys that lived out in Cheney, that every single year they would come in with their piggy bank, that they would save money. And mom and dad would come in too, lots of times with dad. And now, they every single year. Well, we've been doing it for 22 years. Well, I guess I met them not quite at the very beginning, but anyway, now last time I saw them, one of them's in high school. These are young men now, young adults. And I think the other one might be in high school or just in junior high, but I knew them as little kids, and they came in every single year with their the amount of people that they were able to feed and to be part of this program, and for mom and dad to teach that to them. And for them, obviously they got to a certain age, they didn't have to do that again, and yet they do. They came in. I have made so many fabulous relationships through Tom's Turkey Drive that I am so very, very thankful. And it has taken on a life of its own. And I think one of the reasons why is because it's something that an ordinary person can be part of, either volunteering or monetarily with that $20 donation. And yeah, where was I going with that on that? Hold on. And I think why it's caught on is because people realize that, this is the least wasteful program ever. I mean, it goes right to the food. There's no anything off the top. It's like such a clean donation. You know what I'm trying to say? It's
100%.
100% of your money goes to help that family, and they get way more food than they would have gotten if you had tried to purchase that for $20. It is an absolutely, and I think people see that and recognize that this is a great value and a great cause, and that they say, I can be part of this, and they want to be part of this. People donate, and we have companies now, and God bless the companies that get involved. They're fiscally responsible companies. They look at it, how is it run? This is what you do. This is how many people you help. Where do we sign? And it's just fabulous. We couldn't do it without them. We try to buy now. We're tasked by Second Harvest to provide 11,000 Thanksgiving dinners every year. And what I'm hoping is that some year we'll have hundreds, if not thousands left over, because that means the need won't be that great. The reality is we're not at that point. Right now, we sometimes say we'll be distributing till about 5 p.m. By, 3:30, 4 p.m., it looks like we're pretty much running out. But we know we were able to get it out to 11,000 families, and we say it feeds a family of 4. So that means every year it's about 44,000 people, but really there are plenty of leftovers. It's so big, and we have so many fabulous sponsors, We have people, let me pass this story along. We have Dairy Gold that after we started going along and doing this, Dairy Gold we didn't reach out to them. They got a hold of us and said, hey, this is beautiful. Our family farmers, our dairy farmers here in the inland Northwest, they know people that have had to use Tom's Turkey Drive. We want to supply 11,000 half gallons of milk. Okay. I mean, Franz the same way. Franz, Northwest Bakery, they got a hold of us and said, we saw we used to give out a little box of muffin mix, and people were very thankful to get it. And Franz came up and said, hey, we want to give you 11,000 bags of rolls and 11,000 bags of stuffing mix. Just like that. It is truly a beautiful event. And it seems like everybody wants to be part of it. And I love them for that. I don't know if I'm going on this.
No, you're good. Couple of stories I'll throw out at you.
Okay.
One of my favorites. I'm doing an interview. Senior tells me, that meal was so good, I would have never been able to afford it. She said, I divvied it up and froze meals and ate Tom's Turkey Drive for weeks.
Yeah. I mean,
these are seniors who are 70, 80, 90 years old, right? It not only gives them that holiday, you hear that from the seniors. They live off of this sometimes for weeks.
We get a lot of families with young children, but we get a lot of senior citizens. We get a lot of people that are just on fixed incomes. Family has moved away. Family has died. Maybe there wasn't family. And, I could go into the whole loneliness aspect of it on a Thanksgiving when they're alone, or, maybe they're going to have a grandchild come over, but, they just can't afford it, or if they did afford it, something else is going to suffer. Some light bill's not going to get paid, something's going to go. Bus pass isn't going to get purchased that month, something has to go. So I have more than a few, many, less than hundreds and even maybe thousands of these folks have come up to me and told me these stories. And it's not just where they get that Thanksgiving meal, they are able then to have plenty of leftovers and freeze it up and use it again at a later date. And they're so very, very thankful. And I think sometimes we get to this point where does anybody care about me? And at Tom's Turkey Drive, there's a very physical reminder. Yeah, people care about you. People care about you. And they are stepping forward. That person that's helping you with that bag, that's a volunteer. And the people who actually donated the money to buy that box of food for you. So it's amazing.
It's a connection. We've always said that.
Yeah.
Turkey Drive isn't just about sustenance, so that's mission number one.
Yeah.
We all need to eat. It's a connection.
Yeah.
And that was ever more important.
Yeah, it was a real eye-opener for me. It was about food, it was about sustenance, about food. And then we actually figured out that it is, it's always that. But if not tied, a close second, it's the emotional, it's the caring. It's the people feel like somebody cares about them, gives a darn. Because, to go to a Turkey Drive location, typically things are rough in your life. If you have to get the box, typically things are kind of rough in your life. And, maybe you haven't had a lot of things going your way. Well, this one, people are pulling for you. A lot of people, strangers are pulling for you. People you don't know are pulling for you. They want you to be well. They want you to be okay. And they're physically showing you that by providing this huge amount of food for you, and in many cases, carrying it to your car. It's really, it's a miracle.
We called last year a miracle.
Yeah.
The drive-through, it worked. We're doing it again this year because what we figured out is not only safely can we give people food, it gives them dignity. They can bring their kids, they're warm, they have lots of people waving, cheering them on. They're loaded, volunteers load it right up, and they're on their way. There's no standing in the hours of lines. We made bus stop. We have a separate space for bus stop folks. We've made it work. That's pretty incredible considering the last 18 months. And we're going into it, still have a lot of challenges. And we're going to see probably 7,000, 8,000 people pull through the fairground.
Yeah. So I'm going to repeat a lot of what you just said, right? Because that's what's on here, okay? Because your questions aren't on this, right?
No.
Okay, yeah. So last year, we didn't know what we were going to do. I mean, we can't give you a box of food and give you COVID. We can't get you sick. So we had to really figure it out, and we didn't know what we were going to do. For a while, we were flying blind. And then, because I think this thing's blessed, I think somebody's watching over this event, we were able to pull off an incredible distribution. And we did it with people in their cars, where people were driving through the interstate fairgrounds. And we're going to do it again that way. And then we found out that this actually is a good way to do this, because instead of people having to stand in line and, oh, you're in line too. And, we found that the feedback we got and that we felt there, people just felt like it's just a little bit more dignified, just a little bit more. And that, and we try to make it celebratory. So that it's not like, oh, no, this is a great thing. We're celebrating the fact that people care about you and people love you and people want to help you during this rough patch in your life. And for senior citizens, just trying to, on this limited income, we recognize what you're going through. And so we try this, and we're going to do it again this year, where we just make it a celebration for you to come down and pick it up, and we make it as painless and as easy as possible, and just letting people know that you are cared for and we're keeping you safe from this virus. And And who knew that was going to come out of that? We were just trying to find a way to distribute the boxes safely, and then we find out that this probably is the better way to do it. It's easier on people, and it's, especially there's a lot of mobility problems when you get into a lot of older people. Well, if they're, driving down themselves, or if they have a family member or a friend, somebody from church, whatever, they'll drive them down, and, they just wave at us, and it's a, thank you. You're welcome. It's really, it's really pretty amazing. And who knew that was going to come out of a pandemic? When does anything good ever come out of a pandemic? Well, this one was.
We'll definitely need that, right? A couple of quick stories, and I just want you to next time. I remember times like, for example.
And are you guys getting what you need here?
Yep.
I'm trying
No,
to catch the tone.
I'm hearing everything.
Okay.
Windstorm.
And these will be bumps and
This is going to be
bumps.
bumps.
Okay.
Well, then tell me if you need me to do shorter
30s.
bits or
No,
something.
you're fine.
I
I'm
tend to
hearing-
wax
I'm
poetic,
hearing Plenty of chunks.
Okay.
I get a call, a windstorm, everything's knocked out, remember that?
Oh.
And then a couple of things. Number one, I was on my floor in my office crying because I was like, well, now nobody's gonna get a turkey. And Avista called and said, we're gonna double we just feel it's the right thing to do. We're gonna double our offer. And then
And Numerica did too, right?
called and said, yeah, we're bumping it up to 20 grand or so. All of a sudden the calls came in. Rosars worked all night to get a store open so that we could open at 5 a.m. Do you remember all this?
Yes.
Take me back to Windstorm and the way people rallied in a crisis here in Spokane.
Okay, so just recently we've been talking about, what it was like to do this during a pandemic, but we've had lots of, or more than I would like, of, situations that have happened along the way. Windstorm happened just before Tom's Turkey Drive, the week of when it was supposed to happen, before. And everybody, it seemed like, had no power, including the Rose Hour stores, many of the Rose Hour stores. And we were like, oh my goodness, what are we going to do? And, Rose Hours is just trying to get back into operating for day-to-day business. Well, we still need to get the bags stuffed, and we still need to do, and then have the actual turkey drive go on. And it was almost like a turkey drive miracle. I mean, Rosars was able to work with the power company, and they were able to get the store that was down that we needed to come back up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. And then Avista, whose resources were stretched incredibly thin because they're trying to get power on to hundreds of thousands of people, they just call us up. We didn't reach out, and they go, hey, we're doubling our donation. Just like that. We're doubling our donation. Numerica, longtime Numerica Credit Union, longtime supporter, the greatest. What do? They call us up and they go, hey, we know this is tough. We know what's going on. We're doubling our donation. I mean, just like that. You can't buy that stuff.
You can't. I always am like, I remember France. Drivers were trying to get stores restocked, right? Yeah. Things are just crashing and burning, and there's the France guys bringing in the rules, so we could literally just, as it was happening, everyone stepped up to the plate. And they continually do that, which is amazing to me.
Yeah, everyone steps up. It's just amazing. It is, we couldn't, KREM 2 couldn't do this. We have to have these great people that are supporting us. Second Harvest, for sure, for all the organizing that they do and distributing. But, whether it be Franz or Avista or Numerica or Dairy Gold, all of these, and I don't know if I'm...
Numerica, we've talked about, is amazing.
Yeah, Numerica, I think, has been with us. They were our first, after Rosars got involved, I think Numerica was our first real sponsor to step up.
Do you know what? They were the ones that helped us get the whole online giving.
Yeah, they were ahead of the time. Numerica was ahead of the curve on this. Most people hadn't done online giving yet. Usually it's in person, or check in the mail. Because, again, we're going back 2 decades, right, for this. And Numerica said, no, online giving is a great way to go, and it makes it easier for people. And we go, okay, because you're the experts, and sure enough.
Hold up. Just gotta pause. Recording. Okay.
And sure enough, they were correct that online giving is a great way to go. And for people that live out of the area, but still want to I get donations from Canada. People will donate online through Numerica. I can't say enough about how wonderful Numerica Credit Union has been to us.
Saved us at some points because remember the years when the weather was so bad, people could barely make it to the store.
Yeah, we've had so much snow on the ground or ice or, below freezing, below zero temperatures or, in the teens, and people just couldn't make it out. And so they wanted to be part of it. So we would say, you can still give if you can't get down to the Rosars by going online to Numerica and donating there. And we'll get the money. And so thank you very much, Numerica.
Fran's one of the first ones to take us from a tiny little bag to this huge meal because they not only said, sure, we'll give the rolls or we'll give the stuffing, and then they were like, you know what, we'll do rolls too. And now rolls have become like this, they're untouchable. People want them. This year I was told probably can't do the stuffing. And I was devastated because stuffing, right? It's the icon. Despite all the supply issues, despite the fact that it's really challenging, they're in for 11,000 bags of stuffing and 11,000 rolls. In a year where we're told over and over, grocery prices are through the roof, supply chain issues, lack of workers, all of it. And they're coming through again this year. Not surprising for France.
France is, that's a Northwest company, paying livable wages, There's something great about people who make bread. There's just, something great about these people. And they came to us and said, hey, we want to be part of this. And again, I talk about we had this sad little box of muffin mix we used to give out. And they just said, nah, that's not going to work. And so they said, we would like to supply you with 11,000 bags of our delicious Fran's rolls. And they've been doing it for years now. And then they also give us stuffing mix. Well, this is a different kind of year. People want to, there's supply issues. There are problems now because of COVID. So we didn't think we were actually even going to get stuffing mix this year. And people would understand, if we couldn't do it. It's not anyone's fault. And then I don't know what kind of magic they performed, but they were able to find I don't know if they found another supplier, how they did it. All I know is they've just told us that, hey, we can now supply the stuffing mix. So, they have their own business issues to worry about, yet they always think about Tom's Turkey Drive, and they always think about the people who come to Tom's Turkey Drive and need it. They're just good neighbors, good people, good friends.
Dairy Gold, Washington Dairy Farmers. That was, they came on, this year they're going to do 11,000 half gallons of milk. Again, unbelievable. It's one of the top requested items at a food bank. It's becoming increasingly hard to get at food banks. And they were one of the first to call me this year and say, hey, what's the plan?
Yeah, another huge success story where people in the Inland Northwest step up. Dairy Gold. Those are local farmers, local ranchers with these cows. It's not like it's, some national company coming from the Midwest or back east or something. This is like, when you drive up to Chattaroy or anywhere and you see the dairy farm out there, that's that milk. That's Dairy Gold right there. They're local. And they got a hold of us and said, hey, we want to be part of this, and we want to give you 11,000 half gallons of milk. Well, that's one of the most requested items at a food bank is milk. Why? Because it's families for cereal and, milk and vitamin D and, good drink to have when you're having your dinner. And it's very hard to get it. A lot of food banks struggle to get milk. It's a perishable item. It's expensive. It's very difficult. So for them to step up and say, hey, we're giving you 11,000 of these, and they've done it year after year after year after year. They're just, amazing. And that has been a really wonderful thing for me is to meet these families that run these farms. And they're just people, who just happen to get up at 3 a.m. and go out there and go to work until dinner at 6 and, and never go on vacation because they have animals. So it's really, that's been one of the nice things is to meet the local farmers that grow our food or bake our bread and just create these fabulous relationships with them. It's been wonderful for me.
Have you milked a cow? Because I sent you to milk a cow.
Yes, and it's called a teat.
Well, Why does she keep bringing it up every
Yeah,
year?
yeah.
Okay, let's talk
Yeah,
about...
and I enjoy milking the cow, and I think the cow enjoys me milking her.
Actually, we received a phone call. Starbucks, there was a, like...
I have a story I'll tell you afterwards. I got in trouble on a live shot.
Oh, God. Starbucks came into it, and another, I mean, this is an internationally known company from the Northwest, right? People love Starbucks, people live for Starbucks, and they called us and said, hey, we were there at Tom's Turkey Tuesday, we got to get in next year. That's how they, I mean, that call came to me, and I was like, what? Wait, Starbucks wants to join in? So here we have Starbucks, everyone's loves the coffee, everybody loves it, and they not only now are hosting the 2 hours of all product or all what do you call it? Thank you, sales go to Turkey Drive for a whole week this year. They're going to do scan codes on the cups.
And so what is it?
Sorry, it's profit.
Profit. So
Yeah.
usually
All
they
proceeds.
not only do all
Only profits.
profits.
Well, isn't that okay?
The proceeds are like
okay.
everything.
Okay.
So profits, the profit. So they give us, all their profits from a 2 hour sale.
Yeah.
During the season, but now they're going to do a whole week of QR codes. They're still doing the 2 hour thing. So
Okay.
we're going to have. So just to give you some perspective, we're going to have a whole week this year that's Tom's Turkey Drive at Starbucks.
Okay.
And boy, is that a relationship that has
Slam.
slammed, that has grown over the last few years to this beautiful relationship between Turkey Drive and Starbucks.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got another great one for you, and that is Starbucks. So Starbucks employees would come out and volunteer at our events at Rosars and also at our distribution. And then they just loved it so much, they said, hey, we want to actually be involved in it as well. Not just volunteer, but actually be involved monetarily. And again, they said, hey, we want to do an event where where one day for 2 hours, anybody who buys any of our coffees, we're going to donate the profits to Tom's Turkey Drive. That's huge amounts of money that we're able to get from that to get these 11,000 meals that we need to. And now they've decided, because they thought that wasn't great enough, which it was, they now do a thing on the cups where it'll be a QR code for an entire week. So you get your coffee, and if you want to, you can use your phone and you can just donate $1. You can donate $20. It's another way for you to donate because you want to be part of Tom's Turkey Drive and making it easier for you if you can't get down to Rosars when we're doing Tom's Turkey Drive, the actual drive itself. So it's just one more way to make things easier. So not only are we going to get that great big 2 hour event where everybody goes down and buys their favorite coffee and then they donate all the profits to us, but also the week leading up to that event, they'll have the QR code. I can't say enough great things about Starbucks. We didn't ask them, and they just saw that this was a great program and helped a lot of people in their neighborhoods, and they said, yeah, we can do this. We can make this work for you. And we couldn't do it without them. We have so many beautiful companies. We could not feed the 11,000 families without businesses stepping up. They help supply, I think the last numbers I saw, about half of what we need. So we can't do it without the businesses, and we can't do it without the individual people who will stop into Rosars and who will donate the $20 or whatever they can towards a big bag of food, a Thanksgiving meal. So it's these two together where it's the individuals and businesses that are donating together. That's how we're able to come up with the 11,000. That's $222,000. So it's $250,000 basically we have to raise each and every year. And we tell Second Harvest we will do our very, very best. And so far, we haven't let them down. And when I say we, I mean, us as in the community. So the big mantra with Tom's Turkey Drive is that every single cent goes to buying the food. We didn't want anything to get taken off the top. You know what I mean? That that your $20 goes right to feed that family. And it's more food than $20. Well, we had to rent the Spokane Arena to get a safe place to distribute all this food, and it was $10,000. Well, Itron steps up and says, hey, we want to cover the cost of that arena for you for $10,000. So again, we're able to tell people that their money goes straight to it. Well, now we're out at the fairgrounds because we've decided to do that during the pandemic. Well, guess what? That costs money too. And because we're having people in cars now, and we want to make it as easy and as safe, really, we want to make it as safe for everyone, we have to pay for traffic control. So again, that would have been money being skimmed off the top, right? That's not going to go to a family. Now maybe only 9,200 families get a Thanksgiving meal because we weren't able to, because we had to spend money for traffic control. Well, Itron has stepped up and said, hey, we'll cover all those costs. We're going to cover the cost of the Interstate Fairgrounds building for you. We're going to cover the cost of traffic control for you. We know it's important that every single dollar that an individual or a business donates to you goes right to buying that meal. That is a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And again, we didn't seek them out. They saw this was a great cause, and they're good neighbors, and they're good citizens, and they said, let us be part of this and do this for you. And then, of course, they have their big event at Itron, where I'm able to go out and visit with them, and all the managers make big Thanksgiving meal for all of the employees. I love seeing the managers doing that, and all the execs. And then we do a little bit of a, people donate at this event, and it's really, it's great, and it's everybody has a smile on their face. And if I haven't, I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. I love Itron.
I think we're getting pretty close to being good because we're going to do another shoot next week. Anything you'd like to add, though, just about, we've covered a lot of it.
Yeah, I think so. And I don't want to get too much in the weeds, so maybe this doesn't work, but I do want to say, I just want to know, when you donate, we know that that's your hard-earned money. And we know you want that to go to somebody, and really help somebody out. And I want you to know that we don't take that for granted. We know that you worked hard for that, and that you chose us, and that you trust us. And we are never going to let you down on that. And we haven't in the past 22 years, and we're not now. And we just want to say thank you. And I really want you to recognize that we can't do it without you. Your donation, your $20 donation, or whatever you can give, it's indispensable. We have to have it. The amount of businesses that we have, God bless them, we need them. But we can't do it without you. You have to be part of this, or it doesn't work. And I just want to say thank you. And I recognize there are a lot of places for businesses and individuals to donate to great, wonderful, worthy causes. And and so when you choose us and you choose your neighbor, that's a real honor for us, and we're not going to let you down.
Deal.
Okay, that's what I tried to do. Okay, we got it?
Yep, we're going to do
Okay, I hope you got some nuggets
We
there.
got lots